Hello, my name is Griffin Taylor, and this is Sinfonia, the Upper High School Orchestra. Our first piece of the night is Sleigh Ride, which is a pretty recognizable piece, which was finished in 1948. It started out as purely instrumental, and then lyrics were added 2 years later. The main tune was then stolen the next year by another composer, or borrowed without credit, the composer being friends with the guy who wrote the lyrics for the song after the song was written. The goal here being that if I sound confusing enough, I won't have to make sense because none of you will be paying attention. And in the lyrics, written by the guy who was friends with the person who stole the theme, they mention the printing company basically talking about how great the prints are, when in fact they had been out of business for 50 years. The composer had the inspiration for the song talking about how great winter is in the middle of a heat wave in July, which I think is an apt metaphor for any relatives that don't want to be here right now. The song was recorded famously around 20 times and has become a Christmas classic, even though it wasn't meant to be associated with Christmas in any way. And now what you wouldn't have guessed from this piece is that the guy who wrote it worked at the Pentagon as the United States Chief of the Scandinavian Desk of Military Intelligence. And now, with all those random facts in mind, please enjoy our piece and the rest of your night.
Energetic, exciting, and fun are the words that best describe this lively tune by composer Soon Hee Newell. This fast and furious piece sounds much harder than it really is. Blue Fighter Fiddler is a fun piece for the fiddler and all of us. Folk and country music is an integral part of our culture and history, having influenced modern styles of music. This 20th century song reminds us of a simpler time when people played music to have a blast. Here's our second piece of the night, Blue Fire Fiddler.
All right, so very quickly before I bring up our last student introduction, I just wanted to thank you all so much for coming out tonight and for sending your students to school to spend time with me every single day, because I get to do awesome things like this and hang out with your amazing students and make wonderful music all day long. And then we get to come here and play it for you. So thank you again for allowing your students to be the wonderful musicians you see in front of you. And for our last student speaker of the night, I have Abigail Wilney.
Our last song for you tonight is a klezmer theme called Freilock, arranged by Mark Heller. Klezmer music is a tradition that comes from Jewish people of Eastern Europe, usually written for weddings or other celebrations. Though many rabbis discouraged the playing of musical instruments, it was still an important tradition in Jewish culture that weddings be a form of celebration, so naturally music was there to foster merriment. Klezmer music traveled across the Atlantic Ocean to America with the influx of Jewish immigrants during the 1880s to early 1920s. Though seemingly out of date, some of you might be surprised to recognize this style of music. In the 1970s, klezmer-styled music merged with American jazz to create a slightly altered revivalist form of the original klezmer tunes. The word klezmer comes from the Hebrew words kli, meaning tool, and zemer, meaning to make music. Combined, klezmer means vessels of song, or what we might call musical instruments. Klezmer music is characterized by its ability to mimic the human voice, so as you listen, try to make out the words behind the notes. As our last piece of the evening, we thank you for joining us tonight and hope you enjoy Freylock.
tonight.